Story 1. Hi, my name's Dylan, and I need to write this down before I forget who I am. Before it gets me too. A couple months ago, I saw a Craigslist ad that read, "Room for rent $300/month, all bills included. Only one rule, no guests, no pets. Don't open the trap door in the hallway. Rent is non-negotiable. Room is furnished. You'll have the top floor to yourself. The rest of the house is off limits. Must be quiet. Must be respectful. Must never open the trap door. Text only. No calls." That was it. No pictures, no details. Just a number. And a neighborhood listed. Sunnyside Heights. That part caught my attention. That area usually rents for $1,200 plus easily. So I texted the number. The landlord, who called herself Marla, responded within 5 minutes. She asked only 2 things. "Are you employed? Do you believe in following rules without question?" I said yes to both. I was between jobs, technically, but I figured I'd Uber Eats until something else came up. She sent me an address. I showed up the next day. It was a weird-looking Victorian house, sort of sunken into the ground like the earth had started swallowing it and then changed its mind. The yard was overgrown. The air around the porch felt stale, like the inside of a Ziploc bag that hadn't been opened in years. When Marla answered the door, she looked like she hadn't slept in a century. Her face was pale, paper-thin skin stretched over sharp cheekbones. Eyes so blue they looked fake. She smiled like it hurt. "No noise, no guests, no trapdoor." I nodded. She handed me a brass key and a tiny handwritten note. "Do not open the trapdoor under any circumstances. If you hear knocking, ignore it. If it opens on its own, leave the house and run. Do not look behind you." She pointed to a steep set of stairs that led to the attic room. I moved in that night. The attic room was surprisingly cozy. Wood-paneled walls, a tiny skylight, and an ancient bed that creaked if you even breathed on it. There was a mini fridge, a microwave, and a desk. Below my floor was a long, narrow hallway. In the middle of that hallway was a small wooden trap door with rusted hinges and a brass ring for lifting it. That was the trap door. At first, everything was fine, quiet, peaceful even, until the third night. It started around 3:13 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps from the trap door below. I sat up in bed, heart thudding. At first I thought maybe Marla had dropped something, but then I remembered. She lived on the main floor, not in the basement. And then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. Always 3, never more, never less. I buried my head under the pillow and prayed. The next morning I asked her about it. She looked at me with a blank face. "You heard nothing?" "No, I definitely..." "You heard nothing." I stopped asking. On the 6th night, I started hearing something else, not knocking. Breathing. Wet, labored breathing, like someone drowning in their own lungs. It came from the floorboards, right beneath my bed. I tried sleeping on the couch. Didn't help. The breathing followed me. The sound wasn't in the room, it was under the room. Some nights it would sigh, not a ghostly sigh, a human one. Long and sorrowful, like something was waiting. By the end of the 2nd week, I was sleeping maybe 3 hours a night max. I started leaving the house during the day just to be away from it. Marla never left. She never even opened her door when I knocked. On the 11th night, I received a phone call from an unknown number. "Don't open it," the voice whispered. "It's hungry, and it remembers." Before I could respond, the call disconnected. The trap door knocked 30 seconds later. I lasted 20 days. On the 21st day, I cracked. I'd just gotten home from a late night shift. The whole house was deathly still. I walked past the trap door and stopped. My hand moved on its own. I crouched, stared at the old wood, touched the brass ring. Then I heard it, a voice from beneath. "Please, help me." It sounded like a child. I told myself it was a trick, but the voice came again. "Please, I'm cold, please." Tears flooded my eyes. It sounded so real, so scared. And before I could stop myself, I pulled open the trapdoor. There was no basement, just a deep, endless shaft. It didn't smell like dirt or wood. It smelled like rot, like old hospitals and burnt hair. I leaned over. That's when I saw it. A hand, pale, with too many fingers, slowly crawling up the side of the shaft, like a spider with a human arm. It didn't move like anything alive. And the child's voice whispered again, "Come see." I slammed the trapdoor shut so hard I split my thumbnail. It hasn't stopped knocking since. After that night, things got worse. The trapdoor started opening on its own. Just a crack, just enough to let a little blackness seep out. I tried putting heavy furniture on top of it. Didn't work. It moved the furniture. I recorded the audio once, just once. When I played it back, it wasn't knocking or breathing. It was chanting in a language I didn't understand. I played it backward. All I heard was, "Dylan, Dylan, Dylan, let me wear you." I finally broke down and confronted Marla. "I opened it. I'm sorry. What the hell is down there?" She didn't answer me. Instead, she rolled up her sleeves and showed me her arms. They were covered in bite marks. "I've been feeding it bits of myself," she whispered. "That's the rent it really wants. Not money, pieces." I stumbled back. "I'm leaving." She smiled. "You can try." I packed that night. Didn't even take my stuff. Just my phone and my sanity. But when I opened the front door, it wasn't my neighborhood anymore. It was a hallway, the same hallway, over and over and over. No matter which door I opened, I was always back in the same place. I ran, I screamed, I cried, but every time I blinked, I ended up standing right in front of the trapdoor. And last night, it knocked 7 times, not 3. Knock, 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 knock. It never did that before. And when I checked the trapdoor, I saw that it was already open. Just a little. I swear to God, I saw an eye down there. Massive, reflective, with a tiny spinning pinwheel for a pupil. It blinked sideways like a goat. And then it whispered, "The lease is up. Come down now." I don't think I have much time left. The room's getting smaller. The walls are breathing. The skylight shows stars I've never seen before. Some of them move. I'm not sure this is Earth anymore. I just needed someone to know. If you see a Craigslist ad for a cheap room in Sunnyside Heights, don't go. Because the trap door, it's open now. And it's looking for you. This post was recovered from a deleted Craigslist listing. The user account was removed. No record of a Dylan or Marla living at the listed address has been found. The house has since been condemned. The trapdoor was sealed with lead and concrete. But sometimes, late at night, people swear they hear knock, knock, knock. Story 2, original Craigslist listing, July 8, 2024. Free piano must pick up today. No exceptions. Upright Baldwin, black lacquer finish. Very old, but keys still functional. Some chipped ivory. You must pick up before sunset. Do not play the piano inside the house. Do not speak to anyone while moving it. First come, first served. No holds, no delivery. Don't message me, just take it. I didn't need a piano. I didn't play, didn't know anyone who did. But when you're broke, depressed, and scouring Craigslist at 3 a.m. with nothing better to do, free stuff starts to look appealing, especially something as fancy sounding as a Baldwin. My roommate Jules rolled her eyes. Seriously? A free piano? That screams cursed object. I laughed it off. It's probably just an old guy trying to get rid of his dead wife's stuff. Spoiler, I wish it was just that. The house was way out on the edge of town, past where the map turns gray and the streetlights disappear. It looked abandoned, windows boarded up from the inside, paint peeling like old skin. The front door was wide open. I stepped inside. No furniture, no carpet, no lights. Just the piano, tall, black, regal, sitting dead center in the entry hall, like it had been waiting for me. and beside it, a handwritten note taped to the wall. Do not play, do not play, do not play, do not play. Once it hears you, it will never stop listening. I laughed nervously, took a photo for Jules, texted her. They really committed to the bit. I touched the keys. Just one note, a middle C. It was horribly out of tune, the kind of sound that makes your teeth hurt. And then, someone giggled. Not outside, inside the house. I froze. Hello, I called. No answer. Just that faint echo of laughter, childlike but hollow, like it had been filtered through static. I should have left then, but I didn't. I wheeled the piano out with the help of a dolly I'd brought. No one stopped me. I didn't see anyone at all. But I felt watched, like something in that house was smiling. We managed to get the piano into the corner of our apartment's living room. Jules gave it a wide berth. It smells like a funeral, she muttered. That night I dreamt of fingers. Dozens of pale fingers, pressing keys, playing something discordant and wet. Each note came with a whisper. I didn't understand the words, but I felt them crawl inside me. I woke up to the sound of the piano playing itself. I ran into the living room. Nothing. Just silence. The lid was closed. 3 days after the piano arrived, Jules stopped sleeping in her room. She moved to the couch and started keeping the piano covered with a thick red blanket. She said it helped keep it quiet. I asked her what she meant. I hear it playing at night, she whispered. Sometimes I see people sitting at it, people that aren't there. She wasn't joking. Then she said something that still gives me chills. They have no faces, just skin where the features should be, and long fingers. All they want is to play. A week later, I found a folded piece of sheet music tucked between the piano keys. No title, just chaotic scribbles, and what looked like veins drawn in ink, branching through the notes. That same day, someone knocked on the door. It was a man in a gray suit with a violin case. Did you recently acquire a Baldwin upright? He asked. His voice was dry, paper thin. I said yes. He nodded. I'm the tuner. I didn't call for one. He smiled. You didn't need to. It did. Against my better judgment, I let him in. He sat at the piano, opened his case. Not a single tuning tool inside. Just a small jar of black water and a needle. He whispered to the keys. Whispered so softly it made my bones itch. When he pressed a note, it bled. A thin trickle of dark red seeped from between two keys. Stop, I said, my voice shaking. He turned slowly, eyes now fully black. Too late. It knows you. It remembers your song. Then he packed up and left. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't use the door. He walked into the hallway and just vanished. That night, Jules vanished. I found her bedroom empty, the sheets neatly folded, the windows locked. On her pillow was a single piano key, chipped, bloodstained. No note, no sound, just the faint smell of burnt wood. I called the police, filed a missing person report. They searched the apartment. Nothing suspicious, except the piano. One officer muttered, "Did that just hum?" They left. No answers. I started sleeping with the lights on. On the 14th night, I found the piano lid open, keys moving, playing by themselves. Not random notes. A song, one I'd never heard before, but it felt familiar, like it had been carved into my brain in a past life. And over the music, I heard Jules whispering, "Don't listen, don't hum it. If you hum it, you'll dream. And if you dream, it will pull you in." It was stuck in my head, like an infection. I found myself humming it while brushing my teeth, while showering, even while talking. And that night I dreamt. I stood in a cathedral of pianos, hundreds of them, black and broken. Each played by a person with no face, their heads swaying in time with the song. One of them turned toward me. It was Jules. Her fingers were gone, her mouth stitched shut, but her eyes screamed. And in that dream, The piano in our living room began to open like a mouth. I researched the serial number etched into the back of the Baldwin. It was traced to a church in Pennsylvania that burned down in 1923. The fire started at the altar, where a black upright piano had been moved just days earlier. Only one child survived. When asked what happened, she said, "The man in the suit came to tune the piano. Then the music made everyone bleed. The piano vanished from the rubble. No one saw it again. Until now. I'm writing this from a motel 2 states away. I dumped the piano on the side of the road at 3 a.m., left it near an underpass with a note that said, 'Free, please take.' But I think it followed me. Last night I heard the song playing from the closet. This morning my reflection in the mirror didn't hum with me, it hummed before me. I don't know what's real anymore. So please, if you see a Baldwin upright piano on Craigslist, free to a good home, don't take it, don't play it, don't hum the song. Update August 1st, 2024. New Craigslist ad spotted. Free piano, must pick up before sunset. Beautiful black Baldwin upright, slightly damaged, but still plays. Do not play inside, must remove immediately, must not be alone when moving. No calls, no questions, just take it away. It wants a new audience. Story 3, help wanted night shift. Watchman, $200/night. Looking for someone dependable to monitor an antique store overnight from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Responsibilities include watching the CCTV monitors, logging any unusual activity, absolutely no touching the exhibits. Do not leave your post between 2:33 and 3:15 a.m. Do not look into the glass eyes of the marionettes. Must be comfortable working alone. Prior security experience A+. Text only. No calls. Serious inquiries only. Well, I answered the ad because $200 a night sounded like a godsend. I was 2 months behind on rent and living on ramen. The store was called Harrow Finch Antiquities, hidden behind a row of pawn shops and funeral parlors. I didn't meet the owner, just a man in a long coat who handed me a key card and a clipboard. No matter what you see, he said, do not leave the office between 2:33 and 3:15 a.m., understood? I nodded. He smiled but didn't blink. I should have walked away. The office was a small room in the back, with a bank of CCTV monitors and a broken coffee maker. There were 7 camera feeds, each labeled the floor, the cabinet room, the mask hall, the doll nook, the mirror chamber, the marionette wall, the storage basement. At 12:12 a.m., the marionettes began to move. Just a twitch at first, then their heads turned, one by one, to stare directly at the security camera. I blinked, checked the loop. Nothing repeated. This wasn't playback. They moved. One of them waved. I turned the monitor off. 1:44 a.m., the feed in camera 5 glitched. Lines danced across the screen. Then I saw myself, not in the office, but inside the mirror chamber, staring directly at the camera. Only, it wasn't me. It was a version of me with no eyes and blood trickling from his mouth. He smiled and lifted a finger to his lips. Shh. I turned the feed off. Later I found a sticky note in the break room. Your reflection is not your friend. I swore I wouldn't leave the office. Not after the note, not after the mirrors. But at 2:15 a.m., the basement camera, camera 7, lit up. The door creaked open slowly. No one was down there, but I heard something through the feed. A heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. It wasn't mine. Then as the clock struck 2:33 a.m., the monitors all cut to static. The door behind me locked itself, and the whispering began. Between 2:33 and 3:15 a.m., you are not alone. That's what I learned. You'll hear your name whispered from the vents. You'll hear children laughing under your desk. And if you're stupid enough to check the hallway monitor, you'll see your own body standing just outside the door, knocking to be let in. But it isn't you. And if you let it in, you won't be the one sitting in the chair anymore. On night 6, the landline in the office rang. It shouldn't have. No one had that number. I answered. A child's voice came through. You're doing so good. Daddy says we can almost use you now. Then it hung up. On the screen, all 7 feeds glitched into a single image. A wooden mask with human teeth, grinning. I didn't come in on night 7, but at 2:33 a.m., my door at home unlocked by itself. And my phone began playing footage from inside the antique store, live. I watched myself sitting in the security chair. Only I wasn't there. And slowly the me on the screen turned and smiled. So I came back. On night 10, something new arrived. A tall, faceless mannequin, draped in black velvet, was set up in the center of the main floor. The clipboard had a note: "Do not record the puppeteer." I disabled camera 1, but at 3:03 a.m., it turned itself back on. The puppeteer was moving, its limbs contorted like a spider's, jerking from corner to corner, dragging marionette strings behind it. It reached toward the ceiling camera. The feed went black. In the morning, the mannequin was back in its original position, only now it had a mouth stitched into the fabric, and it was smiling. Night 13. I finally saw the owner. A woman in a crimson coat, gliding between the exhibits at 2 a.m. sharp. Her feet didn't make a sound. Her eyes were entirely white. She looked up at the security camera in the cabinet room and whispered, "He's almost ready. The skin fits now. We just need the soul." Then she reached into a cabinet, pulled out a shrunken head, and cradled it like a child. I wanted to vomit. Instead, I turned off the monitor and cried until sunrise. I should have died that night. At 2:32 a.m., every monitor went black. The lights in the office exploded one by one. Something began banging on the door. Not like a person, like an animal with metal hands. Then silence. A voice whispered behind me, "Your shift is over. The exhibit is complete." I turned around slowly. Sitting on the desk was a wooden figure, carved perfectly to look like me. Same hoodie, same scars on the hand. Only the eyes were different. The eyes were wide open, and they were real. I ran. I didn't wait for sunrise. I checked the Craigslist listing the next morning. It was gone. Instead, there was a new ad. Help wanted new night shift watchman, $250/night. Must be silent between 2:33 and 3:15 a.m. Do not remove the new display labeled former employee. The exhibit is sensitive to movement. Text only, no calls. I don't sleep anymore. Can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see my puppet on the desk. And it blinks now. If you're reading this, don't answer the ad. They're not hiring for a watchman. They're collecting skins.